Well, isn't it hilarious how this game works? Because 2 episodes ago, midway through, we'd seen arguably the best performance of our career so far from a team. We just signed a new contract and things were looking great. And now, if things don't go our way today, we could end up remarkably being sacked before we run. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 46 of the head coach with me, Daniel. We are up today to face Yamaguchi on the final day of the J1 League season. Don't worry, I didn't spare you both of the remaining matches. We'll also either do our season review, see if we get any job interviews, or maybe even a sacking, because remarkably, after being in a title race a couple of episodes ago, we are now down to 4th place, 3 points off second, behind Vissel Kobe as well, and with the worst goal difference of the three, despite being far superior until very recently. Tokyo have won the league, but we're now battling for second, and at the moment, the club vision is disappointed with our progress. So if we've actually failed after today's game, we could be in a spot of bother. If you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, and what jobs we may be close to getting as well, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've got a couple of knocks, as you can see, defensively again. We'll look at a couple of results in a moment, but let me show you the staffing and the job centre, because we have applied for a bucket load of jobs. We've had interviews for a few of them as well. Since you were last with me, we've missed out on a couple, the likes of Groningen. We had one, Genoa in Italy as well. And of this lot, we've been interviewed by Cannes, where the fans were flattered by our interest. And we've also been listed as one of the favourites for the Ibar job, although not officially here according to the media. So hopefully that will change as we go along. We've applied from jobs everywhere from my beloved Luton town close to home, New York over in the MLS, to Norway and Scandinavia, to the Netherlands, to Germany, and all the way over to Uruguay in South America. We're really desperate to get out. We might not have to worry about compensation soon though, because at the moment, we look like we're at risk of the sack. We've applied for a lot of those other jobs down there as well, but not really had a look in. So for now, let's worry about the finish to the season with Kashima, because this is going to be an important one for us. The good news, we've taken the club back to continental football. We've done okay, but now we are winless in 5, and after the last episode, we've managed to bottle it again. We were 2-0 up and cruising against Shonan after both strikers managed to pop up with a goal. But then in the final 15 minutes, we collapsed. And in the end, if it wasn't for an offside goal, we would have lost by 3 goals to 2. Thankfully, that's not the case. But how can you go from winning 5-0 and 5-1 to then not winning in your next 5? It is a remarkable spell. The team of inconsistency, the team full of bottle jobs. We'll remember them by it. But for today, I need them to deliver. Third, we might get away with our job, but I'm not sure we do if we finish 4th. As harsh as it is, because if we win this game, it will actually be a records points total for this football club, including the year they won the division. But either way, we've got to get our job done. So let's see the team we can put out here. Who's fit, who's not. Adem foul. 75 minutes. I've got to play him. I've got to get the first choice back 3 out here because we're so weak without them. Asada will go on the bench. Matsuo will be replaced by Fujio Mitoma. And he might even come in right wing back because Handa's been appalling in recent weeks. And at least that gives us an extra option at centre half off the bench as well. The 2 midfielders and the front 3 will stay the same. They all did all right last time out. It was the defence that let us down, so we've made adjustments. And this is what we've gone for. It is Bergson in goal. Wader, Ademfal and Watanabe the back 3. Lida and Matoma the wing-backs, Kostic, Hainan and Araki in midfield, with Tabakovic and Kato up front. Hopefully the last time we're going to manage this team, but will it be because we're sacked or because we find a job of our own accord? Well, this game is going to go a long way to giving us the answer to that. So let's go and get into it. The final league game of the season, and it's must-win territory if we want to keep our job, or at least avoid a sacking on our CV. Well, 5 changes for our hosts today, who have got a pretty good side and have had a solid season in the middle of the table. They're one of the smallest clubs in the division on paper, but they're doing their job pretty well. And as they come into this one, 4 points in their last 5 games, a much better effort than we've managed recently. So let's see how we get on in the first half, as they've had the first shot of the game, they've had the first corners of the game, and Vissel Kobe have gone a goal up, as have Arawa. So it's 4th even if we win at the minute. Kato up at the back post doesn't win it, and Araki is getting down the right. I just want to win this game so I can say, regardless of what happens, as Tabakovic heads a sitter over, I just want to be able to say, I picked up the most points you've ever had in a season. And if you're not happy with that, then fair enough. But it makes it look good for me. It gives me an excuse for it. As Hainan hits the bar from a free kick, Kostic on the rebound. The referee's put his hand up. The linesman has not raised the flag. I'm hoping that will mean that it's a 1-0 lead. Let's see what VAR does. Goal awarded. Filip Kostic again. His final game before retiring, and worryingly, he's been one of the best players this second half of the year. In a midfield role as well with no legs. He stood out and made a few look a bit embarrassed, as Araki gives the ball away in his own half. He's had a shocking second half of the year. In they go again. They shoot wide. We're giving up far too many chances. We look so susceptible at the back. And with Vissel Kobe now doubling their lead as well, we aren't looking like we're going to progress from 4th. Despite a record points total for the club, we are failing in our objectives. And Arawa are 2-0 up as well. The game where we drew against Shonan, Arawa won 9-1 to change that goal difference swing. It was ridiculous. And it was against this team as well, as Tabakovic gets in to make it 2. At least we're going out with a bang. You look at the state of this squad for next season. Kostic retiring, Hainan 33, Tabakovic 34, Wader and Watanabe over 30, and both having had long-term injuries. I wouldn't want to be the manager of this side, and I'm very much hopeful I won't be. Let's tell the lads to keep it up. The fact we're getting so many interviews, that we're getting linked with the media with jobs as well. Hopefully it means we're very close now, and the escape will happen soon, as Tabakovic off the bar, rebound off the post. Oh, ridiculous. Kostic on the left. I don't even want to think we're comfortable yet, because this is exactly how the Shonan game went. We were 2-0 up and I thought, this is game done. And it all changed in an instant, as Arawa have conceded, as have Fukuoka. If Fukuoka could get a point and we could get 3rd, that would be nice for me. But at the moment, despite the dominance, it's not coming. I'm going to have to make the change at the back, because Ademfal isn't fit. He'll be replaced by Asada. Handa will come on for Watanabe. They're not fit for 90. I've got no choice. In midfield, Brian Hainan's had a stinker. Yasuda will come on for him. And up front, Kato will be replaced by Suzuki, who, for this season, has been a bit of a star at times and has probably deserved an appearance for digging me out of a hole on multiple occasions. As Bergson has got a goal kick. Big ball downfield. On the right-hand side, it's away as far as Noda. Mitoma gets there first, though. And he'll play inside to Kostic. Can we get that elusive 3rd goal? Not like that. We've given it away again. This is about the stage we normally throw these matches away. Hara goes back to Gyotoku. Into Seijas in midfield. 1-2 with Nakamura. Zadaro gives it away though. Now we're on the counter. Please, just save the game. Stop running into blind alleys, please. Down the left they go. And they keep the ball well. Matsuda at the back with a big ball over. Matoma will chase, but he's beaten to it. It's across the box. It's almost an own goal. Almost looked like he was deliberately trying to score there. We survive it, but we're 2-0 down. And Vissel Kobe have gone 3-1 up. So it definitely is going to be 4th place now. We'll make the final sub, which will be Tabakovic off for Sakuragawa. Or will it? No, do you know what? It's Kostic's final game for the club. Let him get a send-off. Agawa will come on. And it's one of the younger players getting a game as well. Suzuki's on a free kick. We've got 4 to go. And touch wood, it looks like we've avoided the comeback this time. I know there's still 3 minutes, but even now, I'm starting to feel a little bit confident. Big ball downfield, which Handa deals with. Finds Agawa at the final sub. In possession to Wader. Now Matoma. Through ball to Araki. Support from Suzuki. Challenge goes wide, but only as far as leader. In he goes one-on-one. Rui leader. Game over. 3-0. And we finish with a bang if nothing else. And again, just proves the patheticness of this team. They're so good when there's no pressure on them. But as soon as there was a bit of expectation, as soon as there was something to hold on to, they were absolutely embarrassing. Arawa concede a second, but both of the 2 above us win. And it means it's going to be 4th place. And now, I do wonder what's going to happen with our job. Let's skip ahead, see what happens. It might next be a season review, a sacking, or maybe some job news. Well, I'm intrigued because the following day we get the announcement that it's a record points total for the team. The squad planning stuff has come up, which is fine, we'll do off camera. And the board have set their budget to 10 million, despite the fact we're in 5 million of debt and hemorrhaging money at a rate of knots. No idea where they've got it from, but we've sold so many star players, something should happen eventually. What I do want to know now, though, is whether we keep our job, because if we look at the club vision, we're down C-. We have failed to get in the top two of the league. They want to win the title next year, which just isn't going to happen with this squad. I've gone counting over the time since we've been here, as a reminder to see how many star players we've sold. And I mean, it's just 3 this season. Machino's a rookie and Ashida, none of whom were really replaced. If you go back the previous year where we were here as well, where Tai was sold just after we joined the club, they also sold Nakahara, the young superstar, to Southampton, now a Japanese international. They gave Rui Leader out on loan when we were using him as our first choice left back. And they also sold Ibuzuki. So in what, just under 2 years we've been here, 3 transfer windows we've been at the club, they've sold 6-star first team players from under my nose, and they've sold 1 player out on loan who we would have been playing first choice. In their place, they've signed Watanabe, who was on loan anyway. Sakaragawa, who wasn't great, but between him and Tabakovic, you can say 1. And Kato may be the only other to replace the 2 strikers that have gone. Otherwise, we're at a deficit of 3 or 4. It's really not good enough. It's really not been fair on me. So regardless of what happens here, we're going to keep job hunting. We're going to keep pushing on. And until we get our season review, we're going to keep hoping that something comes along and gives us an opportunity. Aston Villa, probably a bit big, but we're going to go for it anyway. Bari in Serie B, I saw there. They've got a job up we haven't applied for yet. 3-star club, very much underperforming to their pre-season expectations. We'll go for that one as well. We'll be back when there's any news, or if not, for our season review, because as much as I hate it, we might have to prepare for another year at Kashima. Well then, we return with lots of end of season messages, but also a big bit of news at the top, which we're going to start with, because New York Red Bulls have offered us a chance to go to one of the big cities in the US potentially. We have got the opportunity for a job interview there. They've got a key player in Miguel Aziz, who many will know as a young star from Arsenal in real life. Let's have a look at who else is at the club at the moment, because it's a very experienced squad by the looks. Eric Palmer-Brown I recognise. We've had him in a head coach over the years, definitely. Akin Famiwo is there, a former Luton Academy player. Did not expect to see that when I came over. And there's also a few big earners. They've got Jake Clark-Salter in there as well. But the biggest earner at the club is Dante, a striker, who's very good. No complaints about him. Sean Ruffin, young star from the Republic of Ireland. We had him in the Bristol City save last year. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I can get on board with this. Elias is a player I recognise as well. It's a decent little side, isn't it? So we're going to go for the interview there. I would still rather go to Europe, but I'm not going to turn it down. I definitely want a chance to manage here. I've shown loyalty to clubs. You should be happy with that. It's acceptable when we've been in management this long. I'm trying to forge a career. It's very much the exception. I don't know why we have to answer that every time about the dressing room atmosphere when there's never problems. I don't get it. I'm confident of achieving every target set. I'm not promising that. I learnt the hard way at Peterborough Sports. Happy to work with the director of football. Don't want to do the drafts. And I don't wish to make any changes there. They want to win the MLS Cup next year. Blimey. Talk about making it nice and easy for us, eh? I'm happy with that. That means that hopefully they'll draft well. They'll get good people in. Maybe they'll offer us a job. For now, though, we've got to worry about Kashima, who are getting smaller and are getting less popular on social media. Next year, the expectation, it's changed. Maybe they're finally realising that they're not helping us here. Because next season, they've changed their objective to record a top half finish. Now, look, I'm not happy with the objectives at Kashima because they're selling their star players and then expecting too much. If they say they just want a top half finish, I can get on board with that. Because that's very much achievable. What I don't like is when they say you've got to overachieve and we're going to sell all your best players. So if they're happy with that, then that might change things completely. If we get the better opportunity, we will, but it makes me less angry or anxious about staying. Because if we then just have to finish in the top half, even if we only keep the 2/3 of this squad that aren't the best, we'll probably be all right with that. So I want you all to enjoy your break. We'll be back at the end of pre-season. Yasuda's complaining about something or other. So let's see how we get on. We'll go through and skip to the official season review, but maybe there's going to be a job offer yet. We're in the winter and there's loads of people being sacked in both Europe and South America. So let's get applying for any more of these jobs that need it. We'll be back as we get any news. Well, this might be the most surprising moment of the save yet, because we have been rejected for job interviews at a number of championship clubs and a number of clubs of a similar standing. Well, now we've been offered an interview for a club outside the relegation zone in the Premier League, and a side that has got 3.5-star reputation rather than 3. If we could get the Bournemouth job, by the way, we are landing well and truly on our feet. Both they and Ibar have offered us a job interview, and we are going to go and attend both. We've got the recruitment meeting too, and we have done the squad planner work off camera if needed. But I'm hoping that all of these interviews, all of these opportunities, surely one of them is going to take a gamble. Surely. Well, I thought I'd better show you this because it's the first time we've had it. Yes, the Bournemouth job interview went okay, but look at this one. Ibar in Spain, one of the best rated sides in the second tier, who are having a tough season, but in what is a very tight table, they're only 8 points off the playoff places. We are now the heavy favourite to take the job. Maybe it's finally going to happen. We'll do the Kashima stuff professionally anyway. I'm hoping this might be the one. The job interviews are really starting to fly now. I'm starting to believe this is going to be the winter. Weirdly, we're being linked with Shunki Mochizuki, which is a strange one, our former Yokohama man. He would be a good player, of course, I'd be thrilled to have him, but I don't think we're going to be staying here. Derby from the English Championship have offered us the latest interview. Willem too, who are in the Eredivisie at the moment, they've offered us an opportunity as well. Surely one of you have got to take a gamble. Are we still favourites for that other job that we went for? Where was it? Ibar, wasn't it? Are we the favourites for it? Yes, we are. Maybe this is the moment. I'm starting to believe. Please don't get my hopes up for nothing. We'll attend these two as well. We're going to have plenty of options soon. Let's hope one of them comes off for us. Back in a minute when we get the big news. Well, Filip Kostic has officially retired, and we found a rare club in Hertha Berlin that have not offered an interview. But Aston Villa have in mid-table of the Premier League. This is starting to get silly now. We also got a mention for St Johnstone, who weirdly are a 3-star reputation club despite the other teams in the SPL outside the old firm not being that. And we've also been linked as favourite for the Willem 2 job after an interview there. So let's get through the Villa one. I know we've got so many interviews I keep reporting on, but I'm showing you how many we're getting purely in the hope there's got to be one that takes the punt. Let's see how this one goes as we continue the interview trail. This is the moment. It's happening. We failed in our interview at Cannes. This is very interesting because over the last 3 to 4 months, we have been rejected for jobs in the second tier of France, the second tier of Germany, the second tier in Spain. We've also been rejected for jobs in Scotland, in Poland, in the Netherlands, and all sorts of different places. However, the first of 3 job offers we have got now has come from a mid-table Premier League side. Can someone please tell me how that works out? And a 3.5-star reputation club. So let me put this into perspective for you. I'm ruling out the Derby job in the middle. Apologies, but they're a bottom half championship team. If we're going to go home to England, we're going to a Premier League side. Now I'm looking at this one of 2 ways. If we're going on realism, which we normally do in this save, Bournemouth is the only job we can accept. They're a Premier League side with a 3.5-star reputation, and they're a football club with huge room for growth. They've got a new 23,000 stadium in game. They are the side that we should be looking at. Willem 2 is a great option in the Netherlands because they've not got that much ambition in the board, despite having a decent squad, lots of very good personalities, and a Dutch league where, bar the top 4 or 5, it shouldn't be ultra competitive. Which one do we go for is the question. Let me take you through very quickly the options, and then you guys can tell me what I should do, and we'll make the decision at the start of the next episode. Because Bournemouth for the first one, I guess wage comes into it as well, because we have not earned more than 6 grand a week in this save. And Bournemouth have just offered us 31.5 grand a week on a 3-year deal. The objective there is to finish mid-table in the Premier League every season. And if I show you the squad at the moment and the football club in general, they are a side with 3.5 reputation. They've been finishing in that sort of lower mid-table bracket for years. They've still got a lot of the originals because, of course, in real life, they've built this young squad for the future. They've got good training facilities, good youth stuff. They've got a good new stadium as well. If we go and have a look at the playing outfits, you can see they've still got the likes of Tyler Adams, Alex Scott, Max Aarons, Justin Kluivert. They've got one of my old favourites in Victor Siganov. But in addition to that, they've signed a striker in Marcos Leonardo, who's brilliant. They've got Josh Doig, who a lot of you will know about. Very good player. They've still got a lot of players in their 20s as well. They've got a couple of youngsters in the squad. 18-year-old player Ollie Byrne, who is a very good wonder kid as a right back. I mean, this is too good to turn down, isn't it? I'm looking at it now, and I think I know the answer already. Of course, I will wait for yours, but I think it's going to be the Bournemouth badge that we see in the next episode, isn't it? Because that squad is pretty much insane for this level. And for where we are in our managerial career, I don't think we can reject it. They've got Coventry in the 3rd round of the Cup. I mean, even under interim management, they've done all right. It's a far better job than I thought. I didn't think our next move would be to England because we'd been rejected for championship jobs. But that one is one I think we have to take. I am going to rule out Derby despite the fact they're a very good club because 3-star reputation, bottom half of the championship. They only came up from League One last season and they've sacked a manager when they're in the upper end of the bottom half. They're expected 18th by the media. They're actually overperforming, so I'm not sure how that one's worked out. Where were Bournemouth expected to finish? 13th. They've got a mid-table squad and they're realistic about it. The final one, though, and a potential curveball, would have been Willem 2. And if that other job offer hadn't come along, I would have been quite excited for this because 7.5 grand a week is a great deal. It's an upgrade. We're going to a country that's got a good footballing reputation. It's a decent transfer and wage budget. And if I show you this club, they're a 3-star reputation. They've been floating in mid-table for a few years now. The facilities are good, decent stadium, actually better training and youth facilities than Bournemouth. And if we have a look at their senior squad, they've got some really good leaders, the likes of Ace Vado, the likes of Kamemovic, but they've also got some real quality Dutch players. So Tommy St. Jago, who is a model citizen. They've got a goalkeeper who's balanced but pretty good. They've got some very professional players in the midfield areas. They've got young talent in Milos Dokic, who's brilliant. It was a squad and a job that I really wanted, but we've got to be realistic. You cannot turn down 4 times the wage and a bigger club in the Premier League in England. It's an opportunity in the head coach that doesn't often come along. And despite a brilliant offer from Willem too, I think our decision has to be made, doesn't it? I mean, they've lost, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of their last 11 league games. So not only are Bournemouth the bigger club in a bigger league with a bigger reputation and a huge astronomical wage, they're also the club who, let's be honest, have got a lot more to offer us at the minute. Bournemouth are offering a squad that is already ready to complete its job. Why did Dyche get sacked, out of curiosity? Because they were already in mid-table. Unless they picked up more after the caretaker and they were lower before. The league table, yeah, it's quite tense down there. Bar Sunderland, everyone's close. But then equally, they're only 6 points off 9th place Liverpool. It could all change very quickly there. Let me know in the comments what you would do. Derby is ruled out. I'm walking away from that one. That is a definite. I would have, in other circumstances, would have been thrilled with the Willem 2 job. It's one that really excites me, and on paper it's great, but how can I turn down a Premier League job with a big football club? They're established in the league, they've been there for years, and I've got to go there, haven't I? Let me know if you agree in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, a narrow escape from a sacking at Kashima, who are unhappy at what we've done, and please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've got to get out before we're pushed. We've got to get out before the squad gets weaker. And my God, talk about landing on your feet. This is an exceptional move. 5 times the wage, an established Premier League job. It doesn't get much better than that. 5.5 years into a head coach save, does it? if you want to stay up to date and find out what we do in the next episode, and I think if we're being realistic in the comments, we all know the answer, don't we? And do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time to probably join Bournemouth. But for now, if you want to stay up to date with everything else, you can find the Southend United save up in the eye above. The full playlist is there with the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and of course, we've also got our latest mentoring guide as well. But thank you very much for watching, for joining me on what has been an epic job search at the moment. And arguably, Aston Villa aside, the biggest job we've gone for, they've offered us the opportunity. I think that's where we're going to be in the next episode. I'll see you next time, as whichever one we choose, we'll be introducing our new club and having a look at our new squad.